Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining with Qversity and with me today. Just to jump in, I just want to make sure, do you guys see, actually, let me bring this up here.
Yeah, we can see your desktop.
Okay, good. Because I prepared a little PowerPoint for you guys for today here.
Fantastic.
Okay, it's not coming up. Let me do it this way. There you go. Great. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Can you see the full screen? Good. Awesome. Great. All right. So first and foremost, question I'd like to ask is, how is the healthcare where you currently are? Is the healthcare good? Is there a lot of issues with illnesses, sickness? If you're sick and you need to go to the doctor, do you have local access to, maybe a particular clinic or facility? So if you guys could, I guess, type that in. And in your opinion, is your healthcare good? It could be better, needs improvement. So that would be the first question I'd like to ask you guys. And Priyanka, I think that's one of the questions I sent you. How is the healthcare where you live?
Yes, so the students do have the option to raise hand and talk about if they want to ask this about. We have.
So should I put it into the chat or should I?
Yes, you can put say and answer, as you can raise your hand, like Rashi has raised her hand. Rashi can reply to us on how the healthcare is here.
I see. So then what happens once I've raised my hand?
Well, Rashi.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, Rashi, we can hear you.
Hi, everyone. Well, the healthcare in my country, I think it's pretty good, but it depends upon the, how much cost you're going to spend. Well, what I think is, according to, like a person's status, it matters how the doctors, what kind of treatment they get from the doctors. Like the much money you, like get into the healthcare, the better treatment you deserve or you get. That's how it works over here.
Okay. Same here over in the United States. Basically, there was one of the other questions I had is, should a patient's wealth impact, or how much money they have, should that impact the treatment and the results of care? So what do you guys think? Do you think that because it doesn't matter how much money you have, you're a human being, if you're sick, if you have an illness, you should be treated with the same type of care?
I think Akayo can answer us that.
I don't think that really matters much, as a person should be judged on who they are and every person should be treated equally. So, yeah.
Great. Well, that's in theory, but in reality now, is that the case?
Not really. I lived in India and that's not really the case. Patients who have more money get preferred treatment, better rooms to live in, cleaner environments, better doctors, better medication than patients who do not have that much money.
Anybody else would like to talk about that?
Yeah, go on. Well, coming from the UK, we've got the National Health Service, which is pretty open. You can walk if you are injured. You can walk into any A&E facility and accident emergency, and you will get the same level of healthcare as anybody else being brought into that. Yes, there is then a process that if you are a foreigner and you are overseas, then you can bill your own healthcare in the UK, from the UK. So if you're US, you might be able to charge it to your US health insurance. And one of the big issues that the NHS has is being so open that they lose a lot of money for people coming into the country and giving them free healthcare, and then they never recoup that loss because people just disappear and don't fill in all the forms. So I've come from a country where healthcare is pretty open, to the UAE, where everything is done on health insurance, and it is expensive. And if you don't have the health insurance, then you have to spend quite a lot of money on medicine.
Right. Thank you. In the United States, actually, we spend trillions of dollars on healthcare, and yet compared to other countries, longevity, how long you live, all these social factors regards to health, we are not in the top 3 or in the top 5. A lot of times we're not even the top 10. So there's a lot of issues that we need to really iron out in regards to health. And the reason why I ask that is because when you are treated differently because you don't have enough money for care, that is a lack of ethics, right? So ethics in itself is a core and the foundation of biomedical ethics. And basically ethics is a body of moral principles or values that govern a person's or group's behavior. So that's the general idea of what ethics is. And within this branch of ethics, a branch in this huge field called philosophy, we have 4 different types of ethics or different subgroups within ethics. First, it's meta-ethics, which explores the origins, nature, and scope of ethics. We have this term called normative ethics, which proposes what should be considered right or wrong behavior. So this is how you should act. This is what you should do. This is what you shouldn't do in a granted situation or circumstances. You also have descriptive ethics, which describes and compares how people or groups think and act ethically. So this is how religious groups, governmental institutions, political institutions, even business institutions, how they feel they ought to act, granted the situation within their own particular institution, but also within the community and society that they live. And then lastly is applied ethics, which decides how people should act in given situations or circumstances. So the body of, or the foundation of biomedical ethics, of course, is the philosophical field called ethics. And within ethics, you have these 4 particular fields that are rooted within that particular theme.